Okay, VIP members, my special brand. Here he is, live and in person, the one and the only Ernest the Cat Miller. And Ernest, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Great. Thanks for having me, Vince.
No problem. Now, Ernest, I'm going to tell you a little story here. I don't know how much of this you know, but it kind of got me in some early hot water at WCW. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Now, Ernest, I know you made your debut at WCW at Slamboree in 1997. You came over the rail and you were recognized as a three-time karate champion, and that's how you debuted. I
Yes.
want to fast forward, though, to October of 1999. This is when Vince Russo came to WCW. Now, Ernest, correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe when I first came on board, you weren't there immediately because you were working on that Ready to Rumble movie. Is that correct?
That's wrong.
Okay. I know I didn't meet you immediately for a reason. Were you hurt? There was some
Yeah.
kind of delay that I didn't get to meet you right away.
Yes, I tore my ACL right before you got there. And
Okay,
I
so
was coming back. Yeah.
yeah, so you were out of commission with the injury.
Yes.
Now, Ernest, I remember like it was yesterday because, bro, I was a huge mark for you. I loved what you did. I don't remember the city, I don't remember the town, but I know that I tracked you down in a parking lot. And we were at a building. I saw you in the parking lot. I introduced myself. I put you over like $1,000,000. And I remember, Ernest, my first question to you, and something that we talked about in that first conversation was, I said, Ernest, you are so talented. I think the world of you. But the thing I didn't understand was at that time you had Sonny Ono talking for you. And I couldn't understand that. And this had nothing to do with Sonny Ono, but you've got perhaps the best talker on your roster, and you've got somebody talking for him. Do you remember that conversation?
I do. I remember that. Yes.
Now, what happened? Ernest, was I knew that we had to let the real cat out. I knew that the cat didn't need somebody speaking for him. So I made the decision to separate Sonny Ono from you. And it had nothing to do with, I didn't know Sonny Ono from Adam. It had nothing to do with him. I had no intention of firing Sonny Ono. I was going to find something else for him to do, but he didn't need to be talking for this mound of energy and excitement. And bro, the next thing I know, I'm implicated into some racial lawsuit with WCW by none other than Sonny Ono. And bro, my decision that you did not need a mouthpiece had nothing to do with the talents of Sonny Ono, had nothing to do with my feeling of Sonny Ono as a performer, but it just had everything to do with I thought you were tremendous and you didn't need anybody talking for you.
And you did. When I first talked to you, that's the very first thing you said. You don't need anyone talking for you. You need to be out there by yourself, and you need to, create this image and let the charisma out. So, I wasn't there then, when you and Sonny Ono had that conversation.
We never had a conversation. We never had a conversation.
I remember Sonny calling me and said, well, I guess I'm not going to be with you. I'm going to be with the other guys. And, I was like, well, whatever. Because then, Vince, I was there to make the show better. Whatever you guys asked me to do, I wanted to do it to the best of my abilities, just to make the show better.
Well, Ernest, I have to ask you a question. Bro, listen, anybody that meets you for the first time, bro, they know you're dripping with charisma. I mean, bro, all you had to do was look at you back then, and this guy's a star. So I guess my question is, if we back it up a bit, why was the decision made in the first place that Ernest Miller needed a mouthpiece?
You know what? I don't think it was more so a mouthpiece. I just thought it was just more with some of the stuff I was used to do in the ring. You know, it was like I was a karate guy. Sonny Ono was a karate guy. So we used to use each other, kind of feed off each other. You know, I don't think it was the mouthpiece. I would just think it was some of the stuff we used to do outside of the ring.
Okay, that makes sense.
It
I
looked
understand.
good. It looked good. You know, big black guy, little Asian guy, you know. Back then, what was that? Rush Hour, and you know,
Right,
that
right,
was
right,
in.
right.
Oh yeah.
Now, Ernest, somewhere along the line, like, you got brought into WCW as a 3-time karate champion, and you were the karate guy. But as the character started developing, all of a sudden now Ernest the Cat Miller started to become an entertainer, with the ruby shoes and the dancing in the ring and Somebody Call My Mama. Now, I got to ask you, Ernest, did a lot of that come from you? And did you just organically start building on this character, or was it direction from other people?
You know what? It's kind of a little combination of both, because we had, you know this, Vince, we had so much talent in that locker room. All you had to do is talk to some of the guys back there, and they would give you a little guidance, a little direction to go in. And it was some very talented, entertaining guys. Scott Hall talked to me about the red shoes. Kevin Nash talked to me about cheating, kicking people in the back of the head. You know, you had all these talented guys back there, man, that would give you their input on making you, to help you to develop. You know, you had Hogan, you had Mean Gene back there. We had some of the best entertainers right in that locker room. So if you couldn't really just breathe in some of the good talent, then you know it was something wrong with you.
Now, Ernest, let me ask you this, that's because you were a likable guy and everybody took to you and everybody wanted to help. And that probably has a lot to do with, you not being, born and raised, I'm going to use the term, in the wrestling bubble. You came from a football background. You were in potential NFL locker rooms. Then you had karate. Then you came now for the first time into a wrestling locker room. What were the pros and cons that you saw in that world as an outsider coming in?
Okay, can you repeat that for me a little bit, Vince?
Yeah, Ernest, I was saying, I was basically saying that, you had a background as an athlete, in football first, then karate. You weren't born, bred, and raised in the wrestling bubble. So basically, you were an outsider going into their world, and that's a very tight-knit circle. There's nothing else like it. What were the pros and the cons of a wrestling locker room, that took you by surprise early on?
You know, it was like let's just use football. When you're a rookie and you coming in and you ready to work, the veterans there are usually take you under their wings and try to make you and help you to develop fast, because instead of playing 10 downs, now the veteran can let a rookie come in and play 2 or 3 downs for him, and he won't have to do so many. In pro wrestling, it was a little different. A lot of the guys in the locker room who were veterans, they didn't want to help build the new talent. It's like they didn't want to help. They didn't want to lose. They didn't want to associate themselves with new talent if they didn't like the talent. And it would just get hard to get used to that.
Do you think, Ernest, that, because I believe this, do you think that has a lot to do with self-confidence? Because I've said this all the time. The wrestling business was built on independent contractors. That's what it was built on. Every man for themselves. So that's the mentality. I know from my point of view, my attitude was always I had enough confidence in myself that if you were going to try to take my spot or, be better than me, I welcomed it. Bring it on.
Yes.
If you think you're better than me, then, let's go. Let's see what you got. And I know that you were that type of individual where you had so much confidence in yourself, you didn't feel you had to protect your spot.
You know what, Vin? I got along. You can like Michael Sanders and those guys. I got along with a lot of those younger guys like that because I have made it up there a little bit. And these guys will tell you, I would not mind. I used to come up with stuff that'll help them get over with me. If I could do anything, let's do it. Because I felt like, what, I am who I am. And these guys right here are talented guys, man. Michael Sanders, Sean O'Hara.
Sean O'Hara, Jindrak.
Yeah, those were some talented, and they were funny, man. Back there in the back, they were some good guys. So this, if somebody wanted to do something to me or have something with me, I was like, let's do it. Let's have fun, and not a lot of top names were like that in the business.
Yeah. Now, Ernest, I have to ask you this because I know when I came aboard, you were so entertaining to me that, there was no question in my mind. This guy's got to be the commissioner. Period. I want to see him on TV every single week. He's that good of a personality. Was that difficult for you at all to go from this karate role as a name on the roster to all of a sudden, almost 100% acting as the commissioner of WCW? Was that difficult for you at all?
You know what, Vince, and this is so funny right here. And most people are not going to give me credit for it, but I'm going to give myself a pat on the back. I could have done anything they wanted me to do. I could have straight wrestled if they wanted me to do that when I came in. When I first came in, I wanted to learn to wrestle. No one said anything about karate until I think DDP and Glacier, they came up with this little karate gimmick thing, and I don't think it was going. And I wasn't supposed to be in that. That was for Ralph and Mortis and those guys, Glacier. But I think it was going, they had spent so much money into it, and it was going down really fast that they said, we need to try to do something to save it. Then that's when one of the guys said, hey, you need to go in the ring and save Glacier from these two guys. Because there wasn't supposed to be me in there. So when I came and went over the rope, man, so I started working with the wrestlers, doing karate, and it just kind of stuck with me. But then right in the midst of that, somebody came to me and said, now you need to be the commissioner. Here go the mic. We don't want you to be known for your kick. We want you to be known. You got to go out there and talk. And this is how it worked out. Tara Taylor came to me one day, and I think I was in the locker room with whole NWO, Goldberg, and all of that, and Disco. And these guys were trying to pick on me. We were just talking back and forth. And I kind of held my ground with all of them, with Nash, Scott Hall, and Disco. And Tara Taylor was amazed that, man, this guy can talk like that. He in the room with these guys, and they didn't lay a glove on him. They said, do what you just did. And they gave me the mic now. I said, what do you want me to say? He said, I don't know. You got 3 minutes. Go out there and just say something. Talk about anything. And I was so nervous, man. I was so nervous walking through that ring. I was like, man, I don't know what the hell I'm going to say to these guys. I don't know what I'm going to do. But you know what? I said, this opportunity, and it's certain things I want to be able to do for my family, and God gave me the talent. So, man, I went out there, and next thing you know, the crowd was cheering. They went from cheering me to booing me to cheering me again. And I was like, oh, okay, I like this. So then that's when you came in and you kind of talked to me about this commissioner thing. And I said, you know what, it might work. And I said, it was good because we got to do a lot of pre-tapes. So it gave me a chance, they gave me an opportunity to kind of practice a little bit. And they also gave me an opportunity to work with the guys who wouldn't work with me in the ring because I know a lot of guys have heard I was a little stiff. So I got to work with Hogan, Ric Flair, and all these guys as a commissioner. So, it worked out pretty well.
Now, Ernest, I want to ask you a couple of things, just about, just some of the some questions I have that I don't know the answer to. First of all, how did the cat come about? What was that early on in life, or how did that develop?
Man, I don't know where the hell that came from. I just woke up one day and it was on my paycheck, the cat. And I was like, okay, long as it's cash, we can go with it.
And seriously?
Yeah, for real. I don't know where the cat came from. It was always Ernest Miller, Ernest Miller. Then one time I picked up my check and it had Ernest the Cat Miller on it. I took it to the bank and I said, I guess this is my name.
Now, let me ask you, now, where did, of course, the world famous, somebody call my mama come from?
You know what? It was so fun. I kind of grew up in a neighborhood, man, where, little petty things would happen, and I remember seeing this big man, bully in the neighborhood. I mean, he would walk down the street and people would close the doors and turn the lights out. But he started talking back one day to a cop. And the cop, he was trying to be hard and he was doing all this talking. I remember the cop jacked him up and threw him in the car. And the only thing he was doing, he was in the car crying. And I remember the window coming down a little bit. He said, somebody call my mama. Tell her come and get me. And I thought that was so funny, So I said, he just went from a big grown man to a baby. Once they put those handcuffs on it. So I just thought about it, and I think y'all had written into one of the segment that I was supposed to keep interfering with the matches, and then at the end of the night, y'all told me, said, listen, if you go to that ring one more time, we gonna have you arrested. And I kept going out there the whole day. Y'all gave me chance after chance. And then sooner or later, I think I went in to kick somebody, and the cops came and put the handcuffs on me. And I'm talking, they kicking and talking, and I rolled over to the mic, and I put my hand behind my back. I said, can somebody call my mama?
So you had that in your back pocket for years and years and years.
Oh, man, and it was so funny, man. And, when we went up to, and it was so fun, I don't know if you're going to talk about the WWE thing, but when I went up there. Okay, well, I'll wait for you to ask.
Yeah, because we're almost there. Ernest, I want to ask you one more question about WCW because I wasn't there at the time. But basically, with your success and your popularity, they bring in James Brown now to do a segment with you. Can you just tell me a little bit about that? There's got to be a story in there somewhere.
You know what? When I was young, my mom I was about maybe 6 years old. And I remember my mom and her friends used to come over sometimes. She would entertain friends. And I can be in the bed and I hear them down there talking. And my mom used to love to see me dance. I love James Brown. So soon James Brown come on TV, I just dance, So this particular time, whenever any of her friends would come over, she'll call me and she said, baby, come down here. Then I'll come down there and she'll put the James Brown music on and I'll start sliding across the floor. So at this time right here, I remember one time I was in the bed and I heard everybody downstairs, So I knew she was going to call me in and to do the James Brown. So I couldn't do it in my socks or bare feet. So what I did, I went to grease my shoes up and I wanted to do a little something different. So I did the whole James Brown theme to where I dropped down to one knee and my brother came and put my shirt over my shoulder and everything. And she just thought that was so funny. So, I kind of grew up on that. So growing up on that like that, as soon as I got the opportunity to add something to spice up my little ending or whatever, I didn't win many matches, but I wanted to be entertaining at the end. So, I was going through that and I was lying to everybody, telling them James Brown and I were going out on tour and me and James Brown had lunch yesterday, and and nobody believed me. So it was good. I think I talked to you or somebody, and I just said, what? We doing all this line. It'd be good if James Brown show up one day. And one of the girls said, what? I'm friends with James Brown. Matter of fact, I think it was Booker T's wife.
Yeah, I think so. Shamel
said, yeah. She said, I'm friends with him, and he watched the cat, and he liked the cat. He'll come and do it. So let me tell you something. James Brown came in, man, that was like, let me tell you this right here. That was like to me, it was just like, man, they couldn't get any bigger. If I never received another check from pro wrestling, that was good enough, right? Just being in the ring with somebody I kind of knew so much about, watched growing up. And you know, and it's still paying off. You know, he gave me all kind of autographed pictures. He gave me 2 capes. I'm the
Wow.
only person right now. You told that, Benjamin. Remember, he put the cape on me.
Yeah.
The only other person he put the cape on was Michael Jackson. He told me
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
He gave me, made those 2 capes. He gave me those capes, and I still got the shoes and the capes right now in the frame. So you know, and this when I know it went really well. As I came from the stage, I remember walking down the hall, and wasn't nobody in the hall because I forgot where we was at. We was at the Cow Palace, and I remember walking into Sting, and you know how Sting is. He never get excited about anything,
Right.
but
Right.
he stopped me. Sting stopped me on the hall, and he said, "Ernest, that was good, man." I'm like, "What?" I would never expect Steen to know a damn thing about James Brown, but he said that was good, man. And I looked at him and I thought somebody was playing the trick on him. I'm looking around in the hall, see when somebody gonna throw a pie in my face or something. He said, no, Cat. He said, for real, man. He said, that was the best thing on this pay-per-view. I can tell you that. He said, the red shoe gonna get over. He said, all that stuff was just, man, that was really entertaining.
Yeah.
And then I walked off, he walked off, and I stood there for a second, watching him walk away. I thought maybe he was gonna fly into the sky or something, you know, but I couldn't believe it, man. And you know how Sting is.
Yeah,
He
I
never
know.
he don't play with you, he don't disrespect you, he just really kind of always positive.
Yeah.
And that right there let me know that, you know what, I was not just having a good time. This is a moment that's gonna go down in history. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
still got it on WWE website now.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so Ernest, let's get there now. It's getting to the end of WCW. WCW is closing the doors. They're bought by WWE. At this point, what's going through your mind? Do you want to go to WWE? Are you contemplating going back to karate? Where are you at this point in your life once WCW closes its doors?
You know what? That point in my life, Ben, I tell you the truth, man. I was getting kind of burned out on the road, you know, and because you know I used to work a lot. I didn't turn down anything because you know it was my job. I never missed a day. No one ever had to come and say, "Where's the cat?" You know, he's supposed to be here. I was always there, and you know I was missing out on my family at home, my kids, man. My son was playing sports, and my little girl was just growing up, and you know I was missing out on it. So when that opportunity came, I kind of researched it and see exactly what I could do and what was best for me and my family. And the thing they said, listen, we're going to pay you. You got 2 years on your contract. So, you know, you can go to WWE or you can go, man. It wasn't, you know, hey, it didn't take a scientist to figure that out. I said, you know what? I'm going to stay home, get paid, and take my son and kids to school every day. And,
Right.
you know, and that's what it was all about.
So what happened from there then?
I decided to stay home for 2 years and just work with my kids. Didn't do anything. I was a stay-home father. You know, I just stayed home, took my kids to school every day, trained my son in basketball, and watch my little girl grow up. You know, and then I think maybe around '03 or something like that, I got a call from the guy up in WWE then, Johnny.
Laurinaitis.
Yes. Johnny Ace called me and said, listen, man, they like you up here. I talked to Vince about you, and he wants you to come in, and he really like you. So it took a minute, you know, and I said, you know what the heck? Let me go on up there. You know, at least I could say I was there for a minute. You know, I could say I was in WWE. It wasn't going to be no Buff Bagwell, no 2 weeks or so, but, you know, I was going to try to break that record.
Now they started you off as an announcer on that Velocity show. Is that correct?
You know what they did, but they wanted to kind of use me a little bit more on other things, you know, from being in the meetings. But that's how they started me off.
And how long did you do that for?
You know, first they started me off on Smackdown because somebody was out. So they put me on Smackdown, man, and I was having such a great time, man. And this is why I know things were going to be a little different. Because when they put that mic in my face, man, I was going crazy just talking about. Vince couldn't even talk to me in the ear.
Right,
earplug.
right, right.
He was trying to say something. I was going there. I remember the one thing I heard him say, Cat, you great, man. Too much charisma, man. You got more charisma than the guys in the ring. And he
Right.
said, but remember, you got a young guy next to you just starting out. And that was Josh something. So they
Yeah.
told me to slow it down. I just couldn't work like that. That's when I
Yeah.
said, why would they want me to slow it down if I can go and just let me go?
Yeah.
And to this day, that's when I started kind of feeling like you're gonna be more restricted than
Yeah.
like the freedom that you had in WCW. It's like anything being an artist. If you're an artist, man, you
Yeah.
got to really feel it. If you feel it, you can flow with it. And that's one thing you gave us in WCW. You gave us the freedom to kind of make mistakes and keep going, not make mistakes and lose your position. So with that kind of freedom, you will be able to be creative. You can come up with the red shoes. If it didn't work, you get a pair of blue shoes.
Right.
But in WWE, I saw what was going on early. I said, you know what? I think they got us here to build their guys so we can help build the guys that they want to take our place.
Now,
So,
Ernest, in reading the notes here, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ernest, because I was not watching the WWE back then. I needed to get away from wrestling. But it seemed like somebody came up with the idea for you. It happened in the 2004 Royal Rumble, and then it happened in a 15-man battle royal where the winner was going to get a shot at Brock Lesnar. But it seemed that somebody found it funny that, Ernest Miller came into the ring doing his act, doing his dancing, putting on a show, and then immediately got eliminated from the match. Did it go something like that?
It did. It's like Vince. They said, "This is what you're gonna do, Cat. You're gonna go and you're gonna dance so much that you're gonna forget about the match, and then they're gonna throw you out." So you know me, like we just said, ain't no shame in my game because I'm thinking then it's WWE. If I'm gonna give this up on down the line, they're gonna give me something. They got plans for me, But I went in the ring, man, and I did what I only knew how to do. I entertained people, and let me tell you this right here. I swear, everybody on that show said that was the biggest pop of the whole pay-per-view. Everybody said it was the biggest pop of the whole pay-per-view when they got up and threw you out the ring. Everybody enjoyed it, and they wanted to see it again. That's why they did the next night. They said it was a big pop. But me, I just said, you know what? So now I guess they're going to take the character this way a little bit more, interfering doing this. But, by that time, man, Vince and I started talking about it, man. I just didn't like the direction that the character was going in because I didn't see no outcome. I didn't see no payoff.
What was the direction, Ernest? I'm just curious, like with the raw talent.
Man, those writers didn't know what the hell they were doing there, first of all. If Vince McMahon were writing for everything, they were just taking notes from Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, and I'm going to tell you this right here. Vince McMahon was a big fan. Every time I went to the ring and did anything, he just laughed. He was entertained. I remember I went to the ring and I did my little thing in the ring, and I remember coming back through Gorilla where Vince McMahon was at, and the next guy out was Chris Canyon. And when I came back up, Chris looked at me, Chris said, "Hey, man, Vince, he was popping loud for you out there in the ring." You remember he came to the ring and did the dance? So Vince... I still believe that Vince said something when I left. Vince said, "You know what, Cat? I'm a fan of yours." He just said, "But a lot of people around here think that I'm playing politics with you, and I'm giving you more than what you deserve." And I was like, I didn't get that because it was Vince McMahon, but they were just trying to say that, okay, you showing favoritism to this guy for what? I said that's probably somebody who didn't want WCW guys in here in the way. And I think a large portion of that was because Eric Bischoff brought me in because I heard some things about it. And, Eric had a little heat back there, I think.
Yeah, but Ernest, still, it surprises me, Vince, saying something like that to you because, bro, at the end of the day, it's Vince's company. And there's no...
But Vince, Vince, he's like, okay, this is my company, but I still can't make everybody mad at me. People still, he still had good friends and people. I don't think Vince is just total control. It's my way or the highway. I think Vince got a couple of people there that he really respect and listen to. And not saying that their voice is louder than his, but I think they got some people there that he listened to.
Now, Ernest, I want to ask you about this comment. I read somewhere that you made this comment in a radio interview, and I want to bounce it off you because I want to really understand it. You said that the WWE had so many people afraid of their jobs, they never let me develop what could be. Is that?
And you know what? I'm not going to let anyone blame. I'm not going to blame anyone for what I did do or what I didn't do. Because in that case, I had to blame people for the success I had in WCW. And I can't do that. What I meant, if I said, I don't remember saying that, but it sounded like something I probably said and just taken and twisted a little bit. What I was saying then, no one, it's just like what we said, no one had like security enough to say, you know what? Let me help this guy and tell him. I had a couple of guys that tell me what steroid to take if I wanted to take some.
Yeah.
But then nobody come and tell me what to do and what not to do in the ring, But, it was an opportunity, and that's all it was, So I don't think, you was there. Guys, everybody looked like they was afraid for their job anyway. On the Smackdown and those shows like that. They didn't know who was going to be there.
Kat, was there any disappointment when all was said and done with the WWE? Was there any disappointed that you weren't really really weren't given the opportunity to go out and show what you could do? What was there some disappointment?
You know what? I said to myself, if this was meant for me to be, it will be. And I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one who didn't catch on. Hell, Goldberg didn't catch on. A lot of guys catch on in there. But I was just kind of surprised that they didn't give me the development time to fill it out. It just like I'm the kind of person where I got to go and see what's going on around me before I involve myself in the party. I'm not just going to come out and take over somebody's house. I could have been that way, because Triple H told me when I got there, he told me one time in the hall, he said, hey, Kat, you a star, man, and you got to act like you a star. Don't act like nobody giving you anything. You a star. Yeah. And I kind of, and maybe that was it because I didn't act like that. When I got there, I was more humble and just, glad just to be in the business, I thought being in WWE, Vince, that these guys knew exactly what they were going to do. They knew that they had to write for the Cat. Even Vince told me, Vince said the writer said that they couldn't write for you, Cat. I said, how in the hell I said, if your writer's telling you they can't write for Ernest Miller, they can't write for Vince McMahon.
Yeah, they can't write for anybody.
Yeah, that's what I meant. They can't write for nobody.
Ernest, I've had so many people on this show. Like I've had, you and I've had, the Mike Sanders of the world and the Glenn Gilbertis and the Matt Morgans. And the one thing I always say over and over, and you just kind of said it, I want to see where you stand on this. Dale Torborg is another guy that comes to mind. The list is endless. But I've said this many times. It's tough to be a nice guy and really exist in the wrestling business, isn't it?
Unless you believe in yourself. And maybe wrestling is not where your success lies. Maybe wrestling is just something to get you ready for something else. So when I had to leave, I was not going to change the person that I am and the person that I was before I came in. Wrestling was not going to change me. Money was not going to change me. I was going to be the Ernest Miller coming in and going out. I wasn't going to be on drugs. I wasn't going to be all beat up. I wasn't going to have this bad taste in my mouth. I still like to watch wrestling every now and then. I still go do an autograph signing every now and then. But you know what? I was not going to let it change me, and it didn't change me.
So you were there from 2002 to 2004. Once you left now, did you go back and concentrate on karate after you were let go?
You know what? When I left there, you know what? It really was a transformation, man. It was hard. I had to go from pounding my knees back to being flexible and being able to move light on your feet. And you know, it was hard, man. It was hard to kind of re-enter that karate scene, you know, and be fast and quick and feel good because man, my body, I tore my ACL, my body was in, my back was sore, you know, I was having headaches. You know, it was a lot of stuff, man, that kind of you come with the territory of being a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
So yes, you know, it took me a while to get my body back in shape, man, and you know, but now you know what, I feel good as ever now. I feel good, really good, you know.
Well, now, Ernest, I got to ask you this because, you've accomplished so much at this point, between your karate, all-American linebacker, three-time karate champion, WCW, WWE, you achieve all this. Now, Ernest, listen, I'll be the first guy.
Wait a minute. Oscar-nominated movie.
Well, can you let me build that up for crying out loud?
Well, okay, my fault.
Sit back.
I just didn't want you to get a piece of the cat.
Now, Ernest, listen, I know you're pretty. I know you're a very attractive man. I'm looking at you now. I don't know how you're not aging. You can see my gray beard. I look like I'm a cat or something. I don't even know. We always know you're pretty. But Ernest, it takes more than being pretty to be a movie star. There are a lot of pretty guys out there. They're not all movie. How do you now make the transaction to movie star?
You know what, man? It's one thing they taught me in pro wrestling, really. It's to build relationship with new people. You notice every week it was somebody new. Every week it was somebody new coming in. And now with everybody coming in, that show taught me how to build relationships. So once I went to LA, I met a couple of guys, man. I get a couple of phone calls and they say, hey, we want you to be in this movie. And I was like, where? It's in New York. And I was like, don't pay much, but go out there and meet this guy. So I went out to New York, man, and, they told me the same thing you told me. I'm a natural.
Mm-hmm.
They say he's a natural. He got charisma. All you got to do is read with, I went from sitting home thinking about being in a movie to Nathan, reading for Darren Aronofsky, one of the top directors around. Reading with Mickey Rourke, one of the top actors around, and I'm going word for word with these guys. Even the production guys.
And I'm sure, Ernest, that there are, hundreds of trained professional actors probably going after the same role.
And no, it was. I could call out a few names, but some people would be mad. Some of them were wrestlers. Some of them were actors. And they just couldn't give them what they wanted. When Darren saw me, and I still talk to Darren now. When Darren, and Mickey too, Mickey Rourke, he said, listen, you got to make Mickey look like a wrestler. You got to make, you got to be able to act. You got to be able to make people feel. They stopped me in the middle of my scene. They said, Ernest, this is the last scene that people have seen. So this is what people going to remember. Now, if you can't act like you care about Mickey, then the whole movie is not going to be worth anything because this is the last part of the movie. Mm-hmm. So he got what he wanted out of me. He said, man, that was great, man. He said, you can work with me anytime you want to.
Ernest, I got to ask you this question, though, because knowing that you were a natural, I know that. I know that firsthand. I worked with you, but this is different, bro. This is a movie set. You're there with a world-class actor, a world-class director, the lights, all the focus is on you. Did you not feel any of that pressure?
You know what? Thanks for people like you, Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon, and wrestling. It's easier. It's easier, man. We were doing that every night, live TV, in front of a live crowd. So just to be in front of a couple of cameras, that didn't mean anything to me. When the lights hit, man, cameras on, it was like, okay, I'm ready to be a star. I just signed another part in a movie called Force. So
Yeah, I want to talk about that too, Ernest, because you also did some TV work over in Japan. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes. I
Ki-
did a
ki-
movie called The Legend of Bruce Lee, and it's actually was in China.
okay.
So yeah, The
So
Legend Bruce Lee. I play Ernest Shaver.
so what is this new role that you're going to be doing now?
You know what? It's a role I can be creative with. You know, it's gonna be a older kind of mafia kind of gang member guy. So it's something I can. But now it's a father, so it's something I can be creative with.
You know, Ernest, here's another thing that we talked about on the phone, and I found this like amazing. Listen, bro, I'm 53 years old. I think I'm about 3 years older than you, somewhere in that neighborhood, bro. It takes me enough to get out of bed in the morning. My back's hurting, and this is hurting, and that's hurting. I gotta force myself to get on a freaking treadmill for crying out loud. Then you're telling me on the phone you're still competing in full contact karate at 50 years old.
Hey, you know what? It's not full contact with everybody else. With me, it is. It's more as hard sparring tournament fighting. Which you know, the last guy I fought, I did knock him out. He was 38 years old. I just fought in New York about 2 weeks ago. So this was funny. I flew in on Friday to New York. I fought in the Twin Tower tournament. I had to qualify for the finals. So that went on all day Friday. Saturday morning, I got up. I drove down to a Legend Wrestling Fest in New Jersey. I signed an autograph for 3 hours. Then I drove back to New York. I fought in the finals and won the whole tournament. Then I flew. Then I drove back down to New Jersey and wrestled in a match.
You
which
mean
was
to
great.
go ahead?
Yeah, which was great. And you know, and people said, "Why did you do that?" I said, "Because I just wanted to do something different."
Well, why
You know,
while you were at it, why didn't you make a movie in between?
you know what? I should have. I should have. It's been a great movie. It would have been better than the WWE movies.
Hey, that's true. Hey, Ernest, I have to ask you: are you training the kids again still?
You know what? I am training a kid, and I'm actually working on something now with me and Eric and his production company. And it's going to be a pretty good show with me working with some of the kids, you know, because I work with a lot of famous kids. One of the most famous kids I work with, other than Garrett and a guy named Jetson, is Usher Raymond. Usher Raymond is one of my black belts. He started
Really?
working with me when he was 14 years old, for about 2, 3 years.
Wow, wow. So, what do you see more movies in the future? Do you want to concentrate a little bit more on acting, or wherever the wind blows?
You know what? Right now, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna come up with a 5 year plan. And if that's movies, wrestling, and wrestling gave me just so much, man. Put me out there to where I can just do anything that I want to do, and that's why I never feel bad about it. You know, I still watch it sometime, but it gave me something different to do. I can choose whatever I want to do, karate or wrestling, so a movie. So it depends.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about that, Ernest. I mean, you've proven that you can do whatever it is that you decide to do. And listen, man, I want to thank you for this time tonight. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I hadn't seen you, in probably over a decade. So this was
Yeah.
really a real treat for me, man.
Hey man, you know what? When I first heard that you wanted me on, I couldn't wait to get that call from you because somebody actually tweeted it out to me and said that Vince Russo wants you on the show. So I said, Vince know how to get in touch with me, and when you did, man, I'd like to thank you now from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. And listen, I wish both you and Eric a lot of luck in this new endeavor. I don't want to say much about it. You told me a little bit about it, and it sounded absolutely fantastic. But listen, you got to give me your word now when you capture that first Academy Award, because let's face it, that's the only thing left. You've done everything
You
else.
know, I may be 55 years old, but I'm gonna get it one day, and I'm gonna stand up there. I'm gonna thank everybody. I'm gonna thank everybody that really helped me along and guided me toward this direction. And then everybody who tried to hold me down, I'm gonna tell them to kiss my ass.
Yeah, whatever you do, make sure you bury Glenn Gilberti, no matter what. But Ernest, listen, thanks a lot, bro. I'm gonna keep in touch. I'd love to have you on the show again once this new venture kicks off.
I will, man. Thank you very much.
All right, Ernest. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.